A cabal of secret societies has controlled the world for 200 plus years, and we get to be alive at a time to see it fall. I believe in the power of one person working as a team with other Christian patriots can have massive impact in reversing this ungodly culture. I believe that we have an omniscient, omnipresent, and omnipotent God that has put his hand on this moment in time to deny the timeline of the enemy and is about to heal our land. This is Rick, your host, and I believe that God has called me to empower Christian patriots with truth. Join us now for the Blessed2Teach show, and let's see what God is doing today. Welcome, it's Rick B2T. We're about ready to empower Christian patriots with truth the next couple hours. Second hour will be teaching on the rapture, so don't miss that at the Word and Worship. But right now we're going to get into the news of Obama and nuclear dust. Is that going to lead back all to the Uranium One scandal? I really think so. And there's some decodes about that from some anons. We'll dig into that. And FISA is the key. Yes, we do know that, and looks like Trump is playing his Pulte card, right? The guy that he put as the DNI. They want him out of there, both the Republicans, the rhinos, as well as the Democrats. And so he's now saying, I want the whole SAVE Act if I'm going to even sign FISA. So FISA and the whole scandal of the of spying on Trump is going to be revealed, I believe, here shortly. So let's get into some of this breaking news right now. Here we have this whole thing that happened on Sunday night where a huge storm was coming and it split in two. And I told you guys, I think that was a miracle. And I showed you a radar of that, right? And so there was lightning and thunder, but the weather was beautiful because this huge storm literally went right around D.C. And Dana White talks a little bit about that in a different way here. But Trump is actually talking about it in a different way. But let's listen to what Dana White says about, I think, the attack.
Like a Channel 7 meteorologist.
Right.
We have like the military, right? We got like the best guys in the world. We're absolutely positively getting hit. It's going to hit. So we got a team. We're ready. When it hits, we're going to get out there and clean everything up as best we can. And then we're going to go on at 9 o'clock. Okay.
Right.
I think it was 9 o'clock, between 9 and 9:30. Okay.
Right.
We're going to go after the rain. The storm comes and splits at the White House and goes around the White House in the ellipse.
Like divine intervention.
Well, the president believes that to his core, that, it was divine intervention.
I saw the radar images, Dana, and right, it's like a big ass storm, and then it's like gone, and then it's back again.
So my head of production, Craig Borsari, who is the absolute best in the business, and a genius and a workhorse, he lost 10 pounds this week.
So guys, I haven't thought it was so cool that somebody else was talking about this because we were really talking about the storm comes and splits at the White House and goes around the White House in the ellipse. That is pretty cool. So that was the UFC Freedom 250. Because I'm telling you, there's favor still on Trump. We need to be praying for him to stay humble and to had to do things God's way and not his way. But there is favor on him for this is a big event that all the uniparty wanted to destroy. Right? That Trump was having a successful American type event here, so it's really interesting. And along those lines, they find out that the actual person who was the ringleader, the alleged ringleader of the drone and sniper plot that I talked about last night in detail, was actually not even a U.S. citizen. It looks like he's a White House UFC event is a foreign national. They haven't talked about what where he is actually a foreign national of, what his country of origin is, or where he should be going back, or how he got into the United States. But it looks like this guy right here, the ringleader, is actually a foreign national. Isn't that kind of interesting? Here's a summary of it. Federal authorities have charged several suspects, including a man who appears to be a foreign national, in connection with the alleged plot to attack the UFC Freedom 250 event at the White House on Sunday. Alleged ringleader Abraham Hermosillo Alvarez is accused of planning to use drones and snipers to target attendees and general government officials. As you know, they're after anybody that, this is the anti-Israel crowd that's gone berserk. Hey, this episode is sponsored by Detox. I had Monday a expert on that's attacking from a legal perspective, attacking all these weather modification, geoengineering, right? But we know there's massive chemicals there to actually have really kind of three things here: your cell detox, that's what this is, as well as your gut and body detox. And why do you need that? I think everybody knows it's because of the arsenic, the aluminum, the chromium, the mercury. And guys, this is found in our medications, our food, our water. I mean, you'll find these fish and fluorescent light bulbs are just terrible for you. Oil paint, air pollution. I mean, this is coming from all over the place. And so to actually make sure you're detoxing on a regular basis is critical. And the way Sherry Tenpenny and I do is with this product. It's one purchase, and you'll get both of these in the package. So I think it's a really good deal per month because you get both of these. And again, I spray these. You spray like I think it's 3 sprays 3 times a day. And here's like 6 drops 3 times a day. And I do this each month. And it's a detox that's important. So go to Blessed2Teach.com, blessed with the number 2teach.com/detox. So it's the website, blessed with the number 2teach.com/detox, right? There's also one that's called Age Well. That's more for making sure your telomeres don't shrink, right? And that's the Televito pill. And so I take this as well. Sherry Tenpenny does as well. Keeps those telomeres from shrinking. And so the combination of a detox and these nutrients to keep your telomeres is really how you age well. So Blessed2Teach.com/agewell and Blessed2Teach.com/detox. All right. Look at this. And Trump delays Jay Clayton's nomination for Intel director to try to push Congress on voting bill. Now, guys, this is really interesting. I'm going to give you some Anon's thoughts on this as well, about how Trump is using Pulte, who he put in there that they don't like, the rhinos don't like, the whole Uniparty doesn't like, and so he's trying to get this Jay Clayton in, but he pulled back the nomination because the Democrats were not meeting their part of the bargain about getting FISA approved. But he's basically, again, FISA goes both ways. And FISA is the key. We know that. And I think it's going to come back to FISA-gate, Spygate, that type of stuff. But this is a real interesting ploy of what Trump did here. So if you look at what he's done, he's basically said, hey, the 59-year-old lawyer serving as a U.S. attorney of the Southern District was tapped to replace Tulsi Gabbard. We know that, right? And here's the quote. Regarding the approval of the great patriot Jay Clayton, we are canceling the Senate hearing regarding D&I today and not going forward until James McDonald is approved to basically his backfill. So he wants his backfill in, right? And he's not going to do this. And then he surprises them again by saying, hey, I'm not going to do this unless you pass the FISA, right? So this is Trump playing his games. Here's his full truth on this, talking about, hey, the Republicans agreed with the Democrats to remove very fair and talented William Pulte. Now, this William Pulte is really, I think, being used as leverage here from serving as acting DNI in return for getting FISA approved by Democrats. However, the Republicans moved so fast in the hearings of the great Jay Clayton, current U.S. Attorney for the Southern District of New York, that Pulte would have gone before the Democrats would vote on FISA. Now the Democrats are saying they will vote against FISA. So the Republicans wound up having fulfilled their commitment, but the Democrats broke the deal. In addition, the newly nominated U.S. Attorney James McDonald must be confirmed, and blue slipped. Because of the ridiculous views of Republicans on blue slipping, Democrats are often willing to nix it. I may not be able to get the extraordinary Sullivan and Cornwell partner Jamie approved, and I don't want to take Jay Clayton away from the great job he's doing until Jamie is in place. So this is Trump playing just some great leverage, which again he's so good at. Therefore, to add a slight bit of intrigue, but for the good of the nation and the people of our country, I will not approve FISA without the Save America Act. This is crazy from a perspective of Trump just continuing to expose the Uniparty that does not want the SAVE Act. So he put it in another huge bill for the military. He's now putting it in saying for FISA, and of course John Thune, who's a complete rhino, saying, hey, well, we only can do so much. We just don't have the votes, right? You don't have the votes because it's a uniparty. Not complicated, actually. The Republicans fell into a trap regarding the approval of the great patriot Jay Clayton and are canceling the Senate hearing regarding D&I today and will not be going forward until James McDonald is approved to be the U.S. Attorney. In the meantime, Bill Pulte, now this is his leverage. Bill Pulte will remain as the acting director of national intelligence, and he's firing people right and left, and the Uniparty wants to get rid of him, and they're even going to approve Jay Clayton probably in an expedited fashion like they almost did, but now Trump's using it. No, I'm going to use it as even more leverage here. Thank you for your attention to this matter. So now here's the rhino John Thune acting like, oh, they're doing everything they can. It's out of his hands, right? We just don't have even though 80% of Americans want this, we just don't have the votes.
On conversations with him, how does this go over? Because the way he types it in his True Social post, it's pretty aggressive. He thinks you should be doing more.
And he's passionate about it, and we are doing everything that we can, but it is a function of math. I mean, we are bound by arithmetic in the United States Senate. The votes currently aren't there. We will continue to put the Democrats on the record and insist on votes on this. But if you tried to attach it, for example, to FISA, it would tank FISA. And so, we will. And
I think Trump's going, if it tanks FISA, that's okay. And I'll show you why. I think Trump is not real in this FISA, this FISA. I don't think he's in a real big hurry on this. And that's why he's playing some of these games. And I'll show you that in a little bit. But the fact that Thune says he can't get it through, can't get the votes for something that 80% of the population wants, give me a break. This is because the rhinos and the Uniparty get elected by the selection machines. They don't want election integrity, right? Not at all. They don't want it.
We will move, once we get Clayton done, we'll move to FISA, try to get the Democrat coalition back together so we can actually pass that and put it on the president's desk. But, and we will look for votes, additional opportunities to get votes on the SAVE Act.
What about housing? You've got a deal potential.
And we will look for votes on the SAVE Act. They'll do it. His job is to act like he's doing something when he knows he's killing the bill. Right? He wants to kill FISA. It was passed by the House, and the Senate has to kill it. But they do not want voter ID. They do not want only citizens can vote. Now Trump goes to the G7, and he kind of does something that's a little joke, but it's like I don't think he's really kidding that much because people know he's the boss. But here he is. He walks to the head of the table.
Hello, I'm the boss. How are you? Good, thank
you. He goes to the head of the table and says, "I'm the boss" at the G7, right? And he really is. But here's what I'm going to dig into. This is, again, a pretty long decode from an anon, right? So I hope you go enjoy that on the show. It's not just about giving you news that you could go get on Fox News, and they're not going to tell you very critical things that are happening behind the scenes. And this is the key. That this is that Joe Lang again. Did a great analysis of what's really going on in this 40,000-foot view. You know things that are going behind the scenes and what Trump's doing. He says this is an interesting development. Don't miss the important signal. FISA is the key, right? We see that all over the Q drops. For those of you who don't know, so you go to the Q drops, you type in FISA, you're going to see that FISA is the key. Well, in fact, I'm just going to do that for you guys real quick. And again, this is not the dark part of the internet like the Mockingbird and media lies. You just go to qag.news. It's one of the many, many sites that have all the Q drops. And you can type in FISA and you'll see it all over the place, right? In fact, it's 131 drops. That's these Q drops have the word FISA in it. And if I type in FISA is the key, FISA is the key, I didn't find that. FISA is, see if I can get this. So FISA is 131 of them. Then let me just do another Control F on key. See if I can find it. Can't find it. It must have been worded slightly differently. But FISA, it's all over there because it is what they use to spy on Trump and try to get rid of Trump. And so it's 131 drops. FISA equals start. That's one of them, right? That is a key part there is FISA equals start, right? And FBI under FISA, CIA not governed by FISA, but you can see that's all over it. But it goes both ways, right? You can use FISA on the deep state like they've used it on us. That is a key part of what is happening right now. So when we look at this decode, let's understand FISA the key. That term is coming from the Q drops, right? Trump knew that placing Pulte as acting DNI would cause instant panic, right, in D.C. because he's loyal to Trump and he's already exposed some big government officials for mortgage fraud. So again, the Uniparty does not like Pulte, right? There was panic on both sides of the aisle for Pulte. So Trump nominated Jay Clayton from the Sydney, New York, and this is all over the Q drops as well as the SDNY, right, and the Southern District of New York, to replace him. Trap set, and I believe that's really what Trump is doing right now. He's doing this, he's setting this trap, right? The Democrats offered to renew FISA if the Republicans quickly confirm Clayton, and that's where they were going to renege on that, right? We just saw that Trump figured it out and canceled the Clayton thing. FISA goes both ways, and you'll see that in the Q drops as well. So if I go to FISA, I think we'll find that term here too. Hopefully it's a term that way. Goes both. Yeah, there's three times it was Q said that. So FISA goes both ways. Plus, raw, right? These people are stupid. FISA goes both ways. In other words, we infiltrated the infiltrators. They were spying on us, and so we turned the military intelligence when they were breaking laws, and we started using FISA against them. And so FISA goes both ways. You can see that right here. Thank you for playing. FISA goes both ways. And then you see here the last one. Phones were present. FISA goes both ways. Information warfare. Q. All right, so that's a key part of what this decode's talking about. But the Democrats don't like Clayton either. Remember, A.G. Barr nominated him to head the SDNY, the Southern District of New York, in Trump's first term. And Jeffrey Berman refused to step down from the position until someone was confirmed. Clayton was then pulled from consideration because he wasn't likely to be confirmed. So this is a key part of this whole thing. Trump put Pulte in there in front to get Clayton confirmed, but he now seeing that he has the votes, so he's actually going to use it as more leverage, keep Pulte in there longer, and try to, again, I think just expose the rhinos and the Uniparty for wanting to not have election integrity, right? For basically killing the SAVE Act, the Save America Act. So Berman, deputy, was then nominated and confirmed. Trump and Bondi placed Clayton as the head of SDNY early in Trump's second term, and he was confirmed. Mission accomplished. Once Trump nominated Clayton to be to replace Pulte, the Republicans quickly moved to confirm him. But look what happened. Now the Democrats are refusing to pass the FISA renewal. Really? Who holds the leverage? Trump holds all the cards. He's trapped the Democrats again. Here's something most people don't know. It doesn't matter whether or not the Democrats vote to renew FISA. Why? There's a brave search engine, right? He's looking at this. FISA Section 702, surveillance continues operating even if the statutory authorization lapses, because the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Court, that's a FISC court, right? FISC, issues annual programmatic certifications that remain valid independently of Congress renewal timeline. Not many people know this. The FISC renewed these certifications in March 2026, allowing collection to proceed legally until approximately March of 2027, regardless of the statute's June 12th, 2026 expiration. Checkmate. The Democrats have zero leverage, and Trump can wait until after the Republicans win the midterms to renew FISA. And now Trump is upping the ante. It says he trapped the Republicans too. He pulled, that's what he said, and we read that truth about that, right? He pulled Clayton's nomination until his replacement at the Southern District of New York is confirmed. Trump wants Jamie McDonald confirmed as the head of the Southern District of New York first. Why? Because SDNY is overseeing a whole lot of important conspiracy investigations, and Trump is going to maintain control of that office. Who's Jamie McDonald? He served as the Director of Enforcement of Commodity Futures Trading Commission, the CFTC, during Trump's first term, and was also Trump's legal team defending him in New York. Are you beginning to see the big picture? Maximum leverage is being applied. The enemy is trapped. Number one, they fear what Pulte will do as acting DNI because he doesn't have to answer to Congress. And number two, they don't want Jay Clayton confirmed because of what he's already knows about the investigations in Southern District of New York. They don't want Trump loyal Jamie McDonald to head the Southern District of New York. And now Trump throws in the kicker. Now Trump also is demanding that the SAVE Act be included in the FISA renewal. Are you catching the signal? FISA equals start. That's what we just saw in the Q drops, right? What about the start? Q drop 3720 in December 2019. Something big is coming. Do people really think this can happen with no consequences? FISA equals start. Nobody is above the law. Not anymore. As I've said many times, Trump doesn't need the Senate to pass the SAVE Act. He can get it done through executive order and already knows he'll win at the Supreme Court, making it a permanent safeguard. I think Trump already knows FISA SAVE Act won't be renewed until after the midterms. He's signaling that the election fraud and prosecutions are incoming. FISA equals start. I also believe that my spitball on Devin Newsom ending up as DNI is still in play. Now that would be interesting, wouldn't it be? If he was the first one that did the Nunes memo on this whole thing where they were spying on Trump. If they refuse to confirm Jamie McDonald as the head of Sydney and New York, then Trump will leave Jay Clayton at SDNY and nominate someone new to head DNI as Pulte continues to pressure them. Nunes would be the perfect choice. Maybe that's always been the plan. So that was all based upon what we had read to you there, and it's pretty exciting to see what could be playing in more detail here. All right, let's continue here. So here's MJ Truth's take on a different part of what Trump's doing with, again, one more anon. I'm giving you the anon view of thing here. Trump is naming states that literally read from the Q drops. He's got those big eyes on there. And here he is. Here's Trump talking about Barack Hussein Obama gave Iran $1.7 million. He said that like 20 times over the last couple months, right? In green cash from banks over Washington, Maryland, and Virginia. And this is the thing that he added this time that he doesn't say every time. They gave that money out to people. They bribed people. So this is coming back to everything we learned in the Q drops about what was happening with these pallets of cash. Where were the pallets of cash divided? How many planes were used to transport? Who operated the planes? What shadow agency directed operations? Why wasn't the money simply wire transferred? U.S. and AUTH, the authorization to open bank-to-bank transfers. How do you prevent financial T-logs? So they're talking about how this money was being laundered back to the criminals, back to the uniparty. How were the cash withdrawals in the EU categorized and labeled? Where did the cash originate from? What time of day did the withdrawals occur? Who provided security? Why wasn't Congress notified? Why was the U.S. government kept in the dark? U.S. law broken? Did all planes land in the same location, airport? Why did particular planes land outside Iran? Why was the helicopter involved? Who did the money go to? How do you audit a foreign aid big block transfer? Did Rohini keep unknown comms as insurance? What agency collects all forms of data? And that's, this is all coming back. We did huge decodes on these, and it's basically coming down to military intelligence has all this information on these guys. What agency did Snowden work for? Which was the NSA. So he's answering some of these questions here, right? Did he train the farm? The farm being the CIA. When did Snowden join no such agency, right? Then that's the NSA. Define contractor. Define the PRISM program. What year did Snowden release special details of PRISM? Mid-2013. Impact limit. NSA's ability to utilize, collect. This is another thing that people don't understand. What Q's basically telling us is that Snowden was a CIA clown that actually went into the NSA to try to try to damage them, because they were basically using FISA, spying on the criminals at the CIA, right? So this is the information warfare here. Fake news push for congressional restrictions. Open source push to create counter-death purpose. Blue skies for clown op. When was the joint plan of action Iran deal executed? Late 2013. Do you believe in coincidences? Nothing to see here. Q. So this is a whole drop that I just read that is all about the pallets of cash that was sent to Iran, right? And so the fact that Trump is talking about that is a really intriguing thing. So I'm going to come back.
It didn't start like 3 or 4 or 5 weeks ago, and Obama wouldn't do it. What Obama did was he did the JCPOA.
Oops, sorry.
It didn't start like 3 or 4 or 5 weeks ago, and Obama wouldn't do it. What Obama did was he did the JCPOA. He loaded up a plane with $1.7 billion in green cash from banks all over Washington, Maryland, and Virginia. They were stripped of all their cash. They had no cash to do payrolls. It all went into a Boeing 757, a wonderful plane, and they flew it to Iran. And they gave it out to people. They bribed people. They thought they were going to get it done. Then they gave billions and billions of dollars after that. And they got a deal that was a road to a nuclear weapon. I get so angry, I guess. Did
you get that? You caught that, right? Caught the whole thing about they bribed
to get
people?
Angry when I watch the Democrats. They talk about it all the time. We had this deal done. You had a deal that was going to give them legally a nuclear weapon. And if that started.
Yeah, legally give them the nuclear weapon. That's what it was all about. So pretty interesting. So you can see these anons are really digging in back all to the Uranium One scandal coming right back in the face of Hillary and Obama. All roads lead back to Obama, they say, right? And also you'll see just the whole chess move he's doing to basically have FISA be a key part of what is going to be used to take down the swamp, right? Here's clandestine, another anon, right? I have some heavy anon stuff here in this section here. But while the normies are at each other's throats over the details of the deal they have not read, I'm on cloud 9 because I can see what's happening. It's not about the Iran deal, obviously. Obama, his co-conspirators, and his handlers are being hunted. The uranium is the key that unlocks the door of all doors. The uranium carries an isotopic signature that can be traced to its origin and will confirm if any other nations or entities supplied Iran with uranium. Flashback to 6/7, just 9 days ago, Trump said that Iran got all of this uranium during Obama. Trump seems to be suggesting that someone supplied Iran with uranium during the Obama administration. It doesn't take a lot of detective work to deduce that Trump is almost assuredly referring to Uranium One. That's a U1 scandal, the Uranium One. That's all over the Q drops as well, which he has called out a plethora of times in the past, calling out Hillary and Obama for giving 20% of our uranium to Russia. Check his tweets from back in the day, keyword uranium. If the uranium in Iran is found to have originated from Uranium One, as Trump has hinted, Obama, Hillary, and the entire brass of the Obama administration would be guilty of treason for supplying WMDs to our enemies in wartime. There's also no way that a crime of this magnitude could be tried in civilian courts. It would have to be handled by military tribunals. Woo, woo, woo. Have I not been talking about that? Yes, yes. That's what's at stake here. That's why the uranium is so important. And that's why Trump's main focus this entire time has been getting the hands on the uranium. We get the uranium, the entire house of cards comes crashing down. And as for how many assets getting frozen or how much neighboring nations invest in Iran down the road, I could not care less. If we get the uranium, all the other problems take care of themselves. Eyes on the prize, the uranium. So this is a key, guys, that right there is getting the uranium could force the military tribunals, right? That we know that's probably going to be part of the end of this show.
They were developing a nuclear weapon. That's how they got there. They got all of this uranium during Obama. You know that, don't you? Well, that's how they got there. Don't say this. They got there. They developed it during the Barack Hussein Obama.
So he was forcing that on the mainstream media interviewers, right? He's a master at that. And here's Trump continuing to talk about this.
Is the text of the agreement now final, or are you still...
No, it's not final. It's a memorandum of understanding. And if I don't like it, we'll go back to shooting at them, dropping bombs on their head.
When do you expect the wording?
If I don't like it, if they don't behave, we'll go right back to dropping bombs right smack in the middle of their head. Okay? Because they've misbehaved for 47 years. All right?
Does it include...
But nobody could have made this deal. I mean, the JCPOA done by Obama, he handed him $1.7 billion in cash, gave him hundreds of millions of dollars, gave him billions and billions of dollars, but he gave him $1.7 billion in cash, green cash from banks, into a Boeing 757 and flew it into Iran. And they stood at the plane. I have pictures of it, like, oh my, look at this.
Yeah, and so, guys, and it was multiple planes, right? That was just part of them. So it's pretty crazy when you see all this. Here's Clandestine also talking about something else. So this will be the last one from the Anon's perspective, and we'll get back to some other news as well. But again, while at the G7 in front of the media from all over the world, Trump said that Obama paved the way to Iran obtaining nuclear weapons. And I want to really get this across because this is really a key point in our history. And that their plan was to destroy Israel and the entire Middle East, right? They were going to just create a nuclear war. They were going to go underground at their nice little cities they have down there. Trump just revealed the big secret to the world. Class is in session. The world is being briefed. It's not just the America people Trump are talking to. He's talking to the entire world. The global public are being prepared for the world-altering news. The world must be informed of the great criminality that took place before there can be justice. The landing must be soft and gradual. Trump is preparing the world for what must be done. Obama and all those involved in supplying Iran with nuclear weapons must be held accountable. Can't agree anymore. Trump just prevented World War III and saved the world, and it was the Obama administration and the global crime syndicate that were behind the plot. While the world watches, you can see Trump is doing all these little press releases with multiple leaders, and it's becoming very clear that he's setting the stage for the U1 scandal to come completely well. It's going to be beautiful. Woo! Okay, so let's move on to some other things here. Here's Ducey asking him a question where he talks about the Iran deal. He's being criticized heavily. I guess Rubio wasn't happy with this, and he was threatened to be fired if he didn't go along with the Iran deal. But Vance is being paraded all over, even on the View. He's on the View. Vance on the View, in the Viper's Nest of the View. I'll show you some of that. But before, so you can see Rubio doesn't seem to be happy here. But I believe this is again, the U1 is way more important than Iran having ballistic missiles. Again, this is part of what Trump is talking about. Let's listen.
Can you explain, though, what the difference is between giving Iran U.S. dollars and unfreezing U.S. dollars for
the unfreezing is an easy one to answer. We have taken a lot of their money, and we have their money. We have taken their money. It's not our money. It's their money, and we froze it. At a certain point in time, I guess we're going to have to give it back. If we didn't give it back, nobody would ever invest in the dollar again. If you took their money, because I thought about it, I'm not the most perfect person. I said to Scott, why do we keep their money? What the hell are we giving it back to them? But, people from lots of nations, some nations we don't agree with, they have their money. The dollar's become very strong under me. And they don't want to have a little conflict with somebody and end up having the United States just take their money. So if you do that, you really don't have a system.
I love how he talks in such common sense terms, right? That's exactly, we have frozen a lot of their money. And it's real, and that's big leverage that we have. Trump says U.S. will not invest any money in Iran Reconstruction Fund. So this is what he's done so brilliantly. He got the Board of Peace and all these Middle Eastern countries to say, hey, if Iran gets rid of their nuclear weapons and stops bombing people, stops funding terrorists, we'll invest in rebuilding their country. The White House and other U.S. officials have not published the terms of the deal with Iran so far as you know that. But this is real interesting, where we are not investing any money in Iran. By the way, and that rumor got out yesterday, is ridiculous. We have the right to go in someday and do, if we want to do something, or if somebody wants to do something, we are not investing any money. And I think if somebody wants to do something, I think basically it's the threat of Israel. Israel's so capable of taking out Iran as well. So Trump's holding them back. If Trump says go, Bibi's going to be there, and he'll take care of business if they don't. Now, this is just so interesting to see J.D. Vance coming on The View. Are you kidding me? So this is talk about going in a viper's nest. This is just the Mockingbird media at its best, at just total libtards. And they say they have Republicans there that are massively rhinos, only one or two they have on there every once in a while. But J.D. Vance ventures onto The View, serves up an unforgettable schooling. So he, and I know some people don't like Vance at all and think he's wolves in sheep clothing. I'm just not so sure. He sure defends the president well. That is for darn sure. So let's just watch a couple of these clips. Here's one when he's walking on the show.
I was surprised at how tall you were. He's very tall.
Well, if you only see somebody on TV, you just see their, in my case, giant head. So it hides how tall I am. Yeah. That's right.
We are the table of big heads here.
So this is a show of MAGA Republicans, right? That's what my media team told me. Okay.
Yeah, it's just you can see that joke. That was pretty funny.
Good.
Well, we'll find out. Huh?
Yeah, so obviously, Whoopi, these people are not fans of Trump at all, and they take the Mockingbird media point and they just hit it and hammer it. This is the enemy of the people. The View is the enemy of the people. They really are. They create division on purpose using talking points from the 4 a.m. talking points, right? But we talked about that quite a bit. So here he is. Again, this is a couple-minute clip, but it's worth the watch. So let's listen.
So President Trump has called affordability a hoax. He said that, not me. He's pouring money into this ballroom of his and the reflecting pool. Oh, don't forget the Arch de Trumpe, I call it, and a White House cage match. All these things. Why is he doing them when you just, everybody knows that Americans are struggling? What is he spending all this money for?
Well, I got to defend the president on the hoax point. What the president said is the idea that Republicans caused the affordability problem is a hoax. And I think that's true. If you go back to the Biden administration, inflation got up to 9% under the Biden administration, okay? Right now it's at 3.5%. By the way, too high. We're doing everything that we can to bring it back down to 2.5%, which is where most people would like to see it. But we inherited an affordability problem. We're doing a lot to make it better. It's going to take a little bit of time. There's a lot more work to do. But the president knows that a lot of Americans are struggling. In fact, he ran on that. He talked about it. And we've done some things and made some good progress on that point.
He just said he loves the inflation.
What he said, Anna, what he said is that he loves the fact that the inflation is going to come down when this war is over. That's what he said.
That's not what he said. That wasn't a direct.
You see, they take things out of context and lie to the American people, and then when somebody tells them the truth, oh, that's not what he said. That's not what he said. Just sad. True enemies of the people is the view.
Interpreter, or are you his vice president? Come on.
Well, look. What the president said. People were asking about the inflation. They were asking about the affordability problem, which again is very real. And what he said is, "I love the inflation because it's going to come down when the war is over." And now, again, we already see gas prices. Gas prices today, $4.06 a gallon, too high, but way down from where they were just a couple of weeks ago. So there's a lot, there's a lot we got to do, but I think that we're doing as much as we can. We're going to keep on working at it. And again, the American people are going to make their verdict. But
okay.
So I'm going to show one more clip too. So really interesting. I just think Vance did a great job there, getting his points across. When they just tried to set him up to look like a fool, didn't work real well.
I'd like to pick up on this theme because I think it's really important. We do have to strike a balance, of course, between enforcing our laws. We don't want to dehumanize people. That is the balance that, look, law enforcement, what I'd say about this, law enforcement is always inherently not a very pretty process, especially when you're dealing sometimes with violent people, with people who are resisting arrest. Some of the people that I've been told by the media were completely peaceful, had never violated any laws. You actually look into the record and you find out that those people were actually being violent, or they did have a criminal record. They had a sex trafficking conviction.
Don't have criminal records. So the majority of people that ICE is rounding up and taking out of their homes from their families, they're separating families. They're
You see that? Do you see how that? The majority of people that ICE is taking out are just loving people that have families, right? So those are the lies the talking points that they're given. But he responds well to that as well with some different angles. But this is the supposed conservatives on the panel. It's such a big joke. The enemies of the people is what we have here. Even Kim Clement talked about it. The View will have to say what I want them to say, that Trump won the election again, twice, right? So I don't know if you remember Kim Clement's prophecy on that, and he announces The View out on it. It's like, that's what God told him, so he was bold and said it.
They're using children as bait.
But
the majority are not criminals.
But can I respond to that, guys? Let me just say this. Okay. So you talk about the children. Here's what I'd say. Do we know that during the last administration, we had tens of thousands of children who were sex trafficked by the cartels, who were brought into our country in profoundly dangerous and predatory conditions?
Let's talk about this administration.
But here's the point. Unless you enforce the border, you invite that kind of conduct. You think that our immigration policies are inhumane based on the reporting of one person with a political bias. What I'm telling you is that it's inhumane to allow cartels to sex traffic people across our border. And by the way,
please hold on.
I appreciate that. We're going to get you back, Anna.
We're coming.
Look at that look. Navarro. Navarro. I'm not sure exactly what she said. I'm gonna rewind that a little bit just to see exactly what he said. I appreciate that. See what she said. See if we can catch it.
And you guys have done
by the way, hold on, please hold on.
I appreciate that. We're going to get you back, Anna. You is that it's inhumane to allow cartels to sex traffic people across our border. And by the way,
please hold on.
I appreciate it.
So I don't know exactly what what Navarro said there. He said I appreciate that because I couldn't catch it, but but that was a interesting time with him on there, and again the fact that I think there's one more. Okay, let's do this one too.
And you were talking about people. What do black people do?
Okay, that's a whole 3 minute and 51 where Whoopi's going to try to use the race card. So we'll have to do that later. So here's Trump's truths. Says, I greatly appreciate Jackson Lawnmeyer's hard work under difficult circumstances. Now, Jackson Lawnmeyer is a good friend of mine, or ours, I guess the Reawaken Tour people. I've been part of the Reawaken Tour media team, and I'll be there tomorrow. I'll be traveling to Tulsa, and we'll be there and as part of the media team, as well as a booth for Faith and Freedom TV and Exodus. And so Jackson Lawnmeyer is an awesome guy, and he's running for Congress. And it's sad that Trump did not. He's also the Pastors for Trump guy, right? But remember, I'm using this as an example of where Trump will use people that are not 100% MAGA, that have more political power or money, that can win elections, so that he can control them when they're in that. Even if they're rhinos, he can control them 95% of the time, right? When you get a Democrat in these positions, he controls them 0% of the time. Okay, so you rather have somebody that's 95% versus somebody that's 100%, but that can't get elected and he's getting knocked out by a Democrat. That's what Trump does when he supports rhinos, like the governor of Texas, Abbott, as an example, who I believe is a complete rhino. But he can control it, and it's better than getting a Democrat in there because he has the money and the power and the backing of the establishment that want him there. Now that 5 or 10%, they're going to fight Trump, right? The rhinos are, but they have to support him on most things, and this is what is sad. But it's just the world we didn't live in until we get rid of the selection machines. Then the Jackson Lawnmeyers, I think, can go win. But it says I greatly appreciate Jackson Lawnmeyer's hard work under difficult circumstances. He has always been with me, and I will always be with him. Beautiful thing. Pastors for Trump, etc., will be with him this weekend. But it says, but when it comes to the current congressional race for Oklahoma's 1st congressional district, I will be supporting America First patriot Mark Tedford. That's just bummer for us who are wanting Jackson in there. But again, it comes back to who he thinks is going to for sure beat out the Democrat. That's what he's looking at here, right? And he basically talks good about him, and it's and again that is a disappointment for us that are the Reawaken Tour people, right? If you know. So here's Donald Trump saying, so happy for highly respected Congressman Mike Collins. He will win his Senate race in Georgia against a pathetic, failed Democrat senator whose name's Ossoff, right? And he says, Oss Jerkoff. Oh, my goodness. He gave him an Oss Jerkoff name, who is a joke in D.C. Nobody even knows who he is. I'll be doing big Trump rallies in Georgia for him, so against him, right? For Congressman Mike Collins. And guys, this is a joke. This is a selection machines in action in 2020, and 2020 is not over yet. Where they stole 2 Senate seats to get control of the Senate back for Obama in the first 2 years. It was ridiculous, just obvious election fraud from Kemp, who let it happen in Rossburg, the rhino Republicans selling out our country. And Ossoff was part of that. That's one of the senators that got 6 years ago. Ridiculous and just obvious election fraud. Here's Trump saying, I'll be doing a press conference in 45 minutes from France, and we saw some of that. I had a lot of big election wins last night. Thank you. And so he posts all these people that won their primaries, right? So Trump's basically positioning to try to not lose the House. I think the Senate's pretty safe, but to win some additional seats in the Senate would be nice. That's interesting. Republican candidate for Oklahoma 1, Jackson Limire, advances, endorsed by President Trump. Now that's confusing. That is confusing. I'll have to go back and research and talk to Jackson. So he basically says he was endorsed and won Oklahoma 1. I'm going to go back to this other thing to see what he said here. Did he switch horses? Maybe he saw that. That's a good question. If you guys know that, let me know in the comments about what happened here, because I was disappointed to see this when this came. See, this was, I'm trying to see how the time frame on these. This was July 17th at 1:23 p.m. Pretty sure this is older. This came through at 18 hours ago. Yeah, so this is old. So she had Jackson Limire. There's Jackson, pastors for Trump, running for Congress, and he won. Maybe this is an Oklahoma congressional seat versus. Can't imagine him running for two different things. So let's go back and read this. It says, I greatly appreciate Jackson Limire. I'll be with him. But when it comes to the current congressional race for Oklahoma's first congressional district, I'll be supporting Mike Tedford. Interesting. So anyway, Trump had a lot of wins of everybody he endorsed. It goes on and on and on from all the midterms that happened yesterday. Just shows you that, again, that power is still there. Now here's Lutnick talking about getting rid of the IRS. Man, is that going to be sweet or what?
To paying taxes. We're so used to it. We have like, who cares? I tell you what, who cares? Donald Trump cares. And when we balance the budget, you know what that means? That means our deficits stop. Interest rates come smashing down. His goal is to have external revenue. You know, the way I think about it, we all are so used to paying taxes. We're so used to it. We have like Stockholm syndrome. You know, don't stop the Internal Revenue Service, God forbid. How about this? The rest of the world leans on our economy, breathes off our economy. Not only is our economy $29 trillion GDP, but we consume $20 trillion a year. We are the buyer of everybody's stuff. We buy everybody's stuff. So who's more important, the people who sell stuff or the people who buy stuff? So we are the buyer of everybody's commodities, products, goods and services. Everything comes from us, right? Let them pay a membership fee. We all understand that model. Let them pay. How about we, you and I, and every single person we know pay less? How about no tax on tips? How about no tax on overtime? How about no Social Security? How about all those things? These are the kind of thoughts that will change America. I know what his goal is. No tax for anybody who makes less than $150,000 a year. That's his goal.
Woo! we could use that, couldn't we? All right. Did you see the Fed is holding rates? So Trump was not real happy about that. You can tell because he wants them lower.
Say it.
Did you see the Fed decision? They held rates today. Did you see that?
It's all right. Whatever.
And it looks like they might even raise them later this year. It's not clear. Do you have any comment?
It could happen. I mean, it's hard to believe. It just keeps a country down, you know. So it's so unusual. But we have a very good guy over there now, so I'm guided by what he wants.
So again, they're going to be dismantling the Fed anyway. So, but we have to wait till we get to the new Babylonian system. That's why I talk about Kirk Elliott and silver, guys, making sure you're investing and diversifying into that, because when the Babylonian system crashes, that's the big upside, right? Here's I wonder why. Maybe because Trump was taking down Epstein, right? So this is an article in the New York Post. Jeffrey Epstein was obsessed with trying to take down Trump before suicide. So he's trying to take down Trump, and it says, well, wonder why? Maybe because Trump was taking down Epstein, right? We know that. FBI arrests a legal immigrant for flying drone near the World Cup event. So that's kind of interesting. So, and again, a legal alien immigrant doing these type of things makes it even more interesting. Unclassified 2025 DARPA briefing document in Department of Defense. And what do we find? An incredible memo was released only this past week. It's been a huge flurry of revelations, of all which have been ignored by the mainstream media. And what does it basically say? It's basically all about the fact that that was a American-created recombinant bat vaccine, or its precursor virus. Remember, they can take these things and they can actually enhance them, and that's what those whole talk about the bio labs in Ukraine. We're doing a lot of this. This is about the gain of function, right? You basically purposely make it gain function to something that would not be transferable between humans, and you make it transferable. That's what this was, and that's coming out now. Major League Baseball is completely woke, and they have a full Pride night, and some of the people that are against this actually put Bible verses on their hats, and Major League Baseball is now saying we're going to fine you $10,000 for actually putting a Bible verse on your hat. That's how crazy this is. Do you practice religious discrimination in Florida, MLB? You'll be hearing from my office soon. So, yeah, that is exactly right. So hopefully lawsuits come against the Major League Baseball for that craziness. Here's a post. I just thought this was interesting. When Jimmy Carter purchased the Teachers Union endorsement in 1979 by establishing the Department of Education, the USA was #1 in education. So in 1979, we're #1 in education. And he goes with the union and starts doing the Department of Education. 46 years and $4.1 trillion later, the USA is number 40. We are, however, #1 in cost per student. We spend more money than any place. The Department of Education has become a woke, horrible organization, and it's being dismantled. It's being dismantled. Here's a good summary from Laura Logan, just talking about what the deep state / uniparty does to create unsolvable problems and take them to basically fund everything they do.
So for these people, they cannot have you ask questions of substance because everything is built on a lie. Climate, all those climate programs, all built on lies. The whole race narrative, all built on lies. Does that mean there's no racism? Does that mean there's no difference? No. But what do? They want to take race, they want to take differences, and they want to create them, turn them into problems which can never, ever be solved. Mm-hmm. So the color of your skin, you can't change it. Therefore, you can never solve this problem. Yep. Unbiased racism, it's unconscious. If you're not conscious of it, you can't fix it. So, and if you look in all of these places, they create issues. Like as a man, you're going to have masculine instincts. They now teach you that masculine instinct is evil. It's a problem can never be solved. CO2. We create CO2 as we breathe out. It's critical for life on Earth. You will never, ever. They created a nonsense problem that can also never be solved, because to remove CO2 from the Earth is to kill all life on Earth. So once you start to recognize the tactics, it becomes very, very simple. It's easy. You don't have to be a genius to see the same tactics playing out over and over again. Transgenderism, it's the same thing. This is an attack on us as we were created, to break down communication, to isolate us so that we can be controlled. Why do they have to kill the food supply? Because they have to control what we eat. We have to control our movements.
Woo! She does such a great job. I'm excited. I've met her several times. This is $67.97 for silver. Sorry for interrupting that video when I was getting that ready, but that's under $70 for silver, which has been earlier this year was up in the 115 type area. And guys, again, this is a great buying opportunity, in my opinion, because of the Babylonian system being changed and go to gold standard. That's why people are talking $200 or $300 an ounce at the end of the year. And so before the Babylonian system make sure you have some diversification and get some precious metals, right? Again, the best place I love to do this is an honest person named Kirk Elliott who has no back-end commissions and doesn't sell rare coins. He just gets you the most silver for the least storage cost, and he can get it in a secured vault for you, or send it to your home. But getting the most silver at the least cost is the most important thing without high commissions that they do on rare coins. So that is a real key part to this. Hey, I'm going to move it to a little bit of my Rick's Alone Time with God. You know that when I went to Israel, I read the book about God wants to speak to you. It's not a secret. No, it's not a secret. God wants to speak to you by Nathan French. And ever since I started doing that, it's just such a beautiful thing to spend time alone. I call it the Rick's Alone Time with God blog. Here's one from about a month ago. And come close. Yes, this is what I heard on my Rick's Alone Time with God blog. And again, he's asking us to come so close to him. Monday, May 11th, 2026. Again, the title is My Children Come Close. And I ask, Lord, how are you this morning? I am well, and my children are listening to me and growing closer to me than they have in decades. I'm adding more to my body every day who are fully dedicated to me, and many of my children are coming closer to me than they ever have. Is this you? If not, come closer. Come so close that you have no doubt I am speaking to you. Come so close that you can hear my voice and distinguish it from all the other spiritual voices trying to distract you from my voice. Come so close that your calling becomes clear. Come so close that you have no doubt about the specific steps you are to take to stay on the path I have lit up for you. Come so close that you feel my love constantly. Come so close that you know that I am the God in whom you can trust, the God who gives you hope, who is your refuge and strength. Come so close that my power starts flowing through you more powerfully than ever. Come so close to me that people see Jesus in you as you reflect on my divine glow. Come so close that all the problems of the world seem so small compared to the glorious light and love you pursue in me. Come so close that there is an undeniable change in your focus, where you have no problem eliminating all things that may entangle that the enemy has put before you. Come so close that I, the Lord, can accelerate your path and do things you could never do in the flesh. Go forward, my children. Take possession of the nations by my authority which I have given you. Allow me to make the ends of the earth your possession as I open up opportunities you never thought possible. Yes, now is the time to open up the heavens around you. Come so close to me that you understand the spiritual strongholds of the enemy I have assigned you to destroy. Keep seeking my face. Keep trusting me with all your heart. Keep coming back to your first love. This is where true intimacy with the Holy Spirit will give you my favor. Make room for me so that all the things of the world are no longer desired, and your desire becomes my desire. As you take delight in me, I will give you the new desires of your heart. You will start thinking more like me, and your ways will become the way I have for you. Your flesh will continue to not affect you as much as it once did, and instead, you will be living in the Spirit constantly. The problems of the world will be overcome through me. Problems you thought were problems will be understood through my thinking, and a true peace that transcends all understanding will define your life. A life where you are not anxious about anything, not even death. You will be living by faith in me, the one who loved you and gave himself for you. So live this life in the flesh with a faith that overcomes all worldly obstacles, because you are focused on me and my word and not the world. Come so close to me that you have no doubt to the kingdom that cannot be shaken, in the kingdom you are living in. So my children, come close.
Break free from deception 24/7.
Wow. That was pretty powerful when it just comes down to trusting him so much. And there's that Isaiah 55:8 that talks about my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are your ways my ways, declares the Lord, right? And that's where he spoke to me about if you get close to him and you understand the path he has for you, and he's giving you direction, you allow him to yoke you, you start thinking like him, right? Because you got the Holy Spirit in you, and you're close to him, and you start doing things for him, and all of a sudden you are now doing the opposite of what Isaiah 55:8 talks about, right? You're basically starting to think like him and starting to do things his way. And that's what I pray for Trump too, that he comes so close to the Lord that he does things God's ways and not his ways, right? And I'm hoping that's what's happening with this Iran thing, that he's because Kim Clement talked about it was the hundreds of thousands of Christians that were going to be it wasn't going to be the bombs. That was going to actually take care of that regime. So the regime's been massively weakened by Israel and the United States, and there's still a bunch of evil people in control with the guns, but they have no support from we, the people of Iran, and there's massive shutdown of all the mosques because they're rebelling against this evil Sharia law, and now they are growing like mad with new churches that are underground right now. And I believe, and we can continue to pray, that amazing things are going to happen there as the Iranian people come closer to the Lord and actually do things God's way versus their way. And that's what my prayer for you is as well, is that each of you, Lord, I just pray for everyone listen to my voice right now, that they will do things your way and not their way. I won't do things my way. I'll do things your way, Lord. I submit to you, yoke me, use me in a mighty way for your kingdom. Say these things in the mighty name of Jesus. Amen. There's one more I want to share with you too here. The kingdom that is not of me will shake. Yes, that's what I heard on my Rick's Alone Time with God blog here, where the kingdom that is not of me will shake. And I heard this on Wednesday, May 13th, 2026 at 8:23 p.m. And I asked, how are you tonight, Lord? I am well, and I am realigning the world through many world leaders and my people who are being led by me. I will continue to expose corruption everywhere. Justice is coming to earth like never before. This exposure will happen simultaneously across all parts of the world. The world will shake because of this, as the evil one tries to rally his people and spiritual forces against a lost cause. He has too much pride to retreat until all the people he controls depart from him. They will be departing for many reasons. They'll depart because they realize the evil one is a liar and a fraud. Some will leave as they hear my voice, repent, and help expose corruption. Others will face my wrath and be imprisoned or killed. The enemy's army will be weakened significantly in the coming days. Many of his demons will also be cast out of the most important places he had control. He will control them no more. I am freeing my nations. I am freeing my people. I am freeing many specific areas where the heavens have opened, and the principalities will be weakened or destroyed. My hand is moving against the nations that reject my warning. My hand is moving against the leaders that do not heed my warnings. As each cup of iniquity becomes full, my judgment will strike quickly and defiantly. And judgment just won't be on nations and the obvious ones following Satan, but also on the hidden followers. Judgment will happen in the house of the Lord. Exposures will continue until the people I have called step into positions or new ministries and organizations to take over the power vacuum that I am creating. So my children, prepare to take control over many areas the enemy has controlled. I am giving you control over many neighborhoods, churches, companies, and organizations of all kinds, so do not limit yourself. Ask of me and dream big. Document what I am telling you and move forward boldly. Test the spirits to assure it's me and prepare to do big things that you may have ever imagined. This is the time for my church to arise. for my people to use their authority, and for my children to draw so close to me that they will start thinking like me, and their ways will start to be my ways. So commit fully to me, so that you can experience the kingdom that cannot be shaken on earth. And trust me, the kingdom that is not of me will shake, and will shake to the point that most will not recognize them after I am through with them. So prepare, my church. Prepare, my people. Prepare.
Break free from deception. 24.
Wow. Break free, right? So you can see there, you can see that there's some commonality and overlap with those two words, right? Both coming to getting so close to him that we'll start thinking like him and hearing like him, right? So I think that's a real key part of what the Lord wants to do with us during this time period. Is the kingdom's going to shake like mad, but you can be part of the kingdom that can't be shaken as you're focused on that. And so the worldly things kind of go away. You focus on the kingdom that cannot be shaken, and you're going to have a peace that transcends all understanding. What a beautiful promise that is! A beautiful promise that you don't have to be nervous. You can follow the Lord, and while the world is shaking, you'll be at perfect peace, right? And so that is a couple awesome words. And I record all this on faithandfreedom.social. On the Words of the Lord section, there's words from Amanda Grace and Julie Green on there as well, and other people can put their words. That's at faithandfreedom.social, faith with the N, freedom.social. And we're going to be going over to now, I'm going to be teaching on the rapture. Guys, I'm on a 5th day of a 7-day series on that. So let me show you that real quick. Let me make sure I get to the right here. So it's going to be on a different Rumble channel, Growing Your Faith, or you could search on that Word and Worship, because we'll do music in between the teaching. So it's kind of fun to just worship the Lord and then learn the Word together. And it's designed as a Bible study guide. And there's a link down below in this video where you can actually get to that. And that is what we're going to be talking about is the judgment of tribulation. This is what I believe the church is kept from, and that were raptured before this. But what's going to happen with these seals and these bowls and what all these different type of judgments? We're going to be digging into all of that, right? And the tribulation of here, and you can see pretty cool. Again, this is day 5, 7. It's going to talk about the seals, the trumpets, and the bowls, and God's purpose in the wrath. That is what we're going to be doing. Seals, trumpets, bowls, and God's purpose in the wrath. Again, it's all the judgments of the tribulation. We're going to be studying that here live when we go over to the other channel here in about 4 or 5 minutes. I wanted to also show you this. Oh yeah, that's not what I wanted to show you. I just wanted to make sure that you guys knew that the Growing Your Faith channel. We have like 45,000 people following this news channel, if you will, the Truth Channel, and only about 10% of them are on Growing Your Faith. So make sure you go over there and subscribe, so that you don't miss all these teachings on the rapture. And I did a timepiece one that was just, we finished that 7-day series. And again, you'll find all of them on faithandfreedom.social. There's a link below that I think you'll enjoy. And we'll get into the judgment of the tribulation. I'm going to just talk about the introduction right now, and then we'll go over and do the detail at the worship at the Word and Worship on the other channel. Right? We have built a strong foundation. We have clearly distinguished the rapture from the second coming, and that's what we did in day 1. And we have examined the timing views honestly, whether it's pre-trib, mid-trib, or post-trib. I think that was day 3. Now we turn attention to the scriptures actually describe happening on earth once the church is removed, the judgment poured out during the tribulation. Now there's an objection that says the church is gone. Who are all the people being saved and martyred during the tribulation? Well, this is one of the most honest questions people ask, and the Bible answers it clearly. Even in the darkest hour of human history, God's mercy does not end, and great multitudes will come to faith through the 2 witnesses who preach in Jerusalem for 1,260 days. That's at 3.5 years, right? There's angels proclaiming the eternal gospel that go over the whole world. And then you have many people, these powerful testimonies of people that are standing up to the beast system, right? And so that salvation does not contradict the pre-tribulation removal of the church. It reveals the relentless heart of God who desires that none should perish. Let's walk through the progressive intensity of these judgments while keeping our eyes fixed on God's redemptive purposes woven through every seal, trumpet, and bowl. And that is what we're going to start with in segment 1, is the Old Testament foundation of how all that pointed to it. And then again, we'll get into the actual seals, bowls, and trumpets as well. It talks about the horses, which are part of the seals. So all that stuff, that's what we're going to right now. God bless you guys. Thanks so much for joining. And we will see you over at the Word and Worship channel in about probably 5 to 7 minutes. And I'll send those of you on Rumble over there with what they call a Rumble Raid, where I can throw you over to the new channel. I will get started up here in about 7 minutes or so. God bless.